How would you like to decorate an Easter egg and have it come out like this? Well, you can do it if you have the Easter egg decorating machine, which is shown right here. This is a machine that I invented several years ago. There are actually two iterations of it. So I'm going to show you the first and then the second iteration of it. It was inspired by the fact that as a kid, my mom used to give these great Easter egg decorating parties. And I think the idea of decorating an egg has always stuck with me. And then in 1990, a guy by the name of Bruce Shapiro invented something called the EggBot. I don't know how many out there are familiar with it, but the EggBot was like a CNC drawing machine that would draw just about anything on the surface of an egg. A stepper motor rotated the egg around, another stepper motor positioned the pen, and another servo moved the pen up and off the surface of the egg. You could draw just about anything with the EggBot. But I kept wondering, is there a simpler way? Can you make a simple machine that could maybe not be quite as cool as the EggBot, but still could produce some really cool patterns like this? And I'm going to show you during this video exactly how this machine works. And also, let me know if you think this is an idea worth pursuing. I could easily redesign this machine to be 3D printed. And I think it could be a nice little thing that people could print up. It probably wouldn't take too long to print it up. I have gotten limited encouragement on the Easter egg decorating idea, so let me know what you all think about it. And if I get a positive response, maybe I will design it and put it up on Thingiverse or one of these other platforms where anyone could download it. All right, thank you for watching. I'll film this, but it's been a really long time since I've tried to use the Easter egg decorator that I created many years ago. I will see if it still works. It's a pretty cool little machine. Let me just turn it around, just show you the back of it. There's a gear down here, which may not be that easy to see on the video. There's another gear in the middle. There's another gear up here, which is attached to the part that holds the egg. And there is a lead screw down here. And with all of these gears in place, when you turn the handle, the egg should rotate at the same time the lead screw rotates. So the pen should execute what will be a helical path, and then you can remove the gear to create what I would say are latitude lines, and you can also move the lead screw without rotating the egg to create lines of longitude. And then there's also a cool feature which lets you put even a pattern onto the egg. So let's see if this thing still works. I have some eggs here. These are not hard-boiled eggs. They, if you take them right out of the refrigerator, they're cold, and water usually condenses onto them, and Sharpies don't like writing on them. So you may have to let them come to room temperature. This is the pen holder. These little suction cups should hold the egg. I had lost the spring. I took this spring out of a pen. We'll see if it works. I have Sharpies here. I have a whole bunch of colored Sharpies. Some colors do come out better than others. Let me load up the red, which I believe was one of the better colors. Have a little spring here and a little kind of metal clip here that is supposed to hold the Sharpie. All right, I screwed the mechanism so that the pen is now going to start on the right side. I don't know if it really matters that much, but I think it might come out a little better. So the machine is set up right now to create a elliptical path. So let me just do this. The handle on this machine was never all that great. This machine was invented before 3D printers were around, and laser cutters for that matter. So you can imagine how much of an improvement you could make on it. So anyway, this is like a helical path. So that just shows you one way you can decorate an egg. So let's now switch the mechanism over and do a couple of other things. I'm going to rotate the mechanism around, and I'm going to remove the center gear. Now when you remove this gear, it decouples the lead screw from the egg rotation mechanism, so to speak. So now we're in a position to, for example, if I position the mechanism a little bit to the right of where we stopped those helixes, I'll put in a blue pen. So now if I just rotate this upper ring, the lead screw isn't rotating, and I can just create nice little circular, what I guess, like I say, I call these lines of latitude. I should be going in this direction. It definitely, you can see it does make a little bit difference. You know, you're not supposed to push on your pencil, you're supposed to pull it. You learned that in drafting class on the first day. So let me just make another line of latitude here. Uh-oh. I thought the egg may have shifted just on a little bit. Okay. And of course, the egg is just not a perfect ellipsoid, so it does sometimes do that. So let me switch colors, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll make some lines of latitude, longitude. So all I've done really is replace the pen with another, or replace the Sharpie with another color. And now I'm just going to gently put the pen onto the egg holder. And now I'm going to rotate the lead screw. Now, since it's decoupled, the egg won't rotate. It'll just stay there. And I believe I want to go away from myself in terms of rotation. Let me just make sure. I don't know how good the camera is getting that. Let me kind of tip it over so you can see what you're getting now is a longitudinal line. You can stop it at that one. I'm going to pick it up. I had marked on the side of this gear. I did put some markings so you could rotate this a certain number of degrees if you want to get a little fancy. But what you can do is just rotate that, and now I'll come back toward me. Now you can imagine, if you have a little bit of patience and a little bit of desire, you can make very cool egg patterns like that. So I mean, I'll show some finished eggs that I'll make when I really put my effort into it and some time into it. Now there's another feature that the Egg Decorator has, which I have to admit I think is pretty cool. So I want to demonstrate that next. Okay, I've positioned the Egg Decorator now to have the pen over here on an unmarked part of the egg. Now the operation I'm about to show you probably works better in the middle of the egg, but we'll see if it works on the side. Now this is a pattern wheel. There's a couple of features on this device I didn't really show you before, so let me sort of reveal all of its secrets. So this gear that I had taken out before, which couples the egg rotation to the threaded, or to the lead screw for the pen, if you notice how thick that gear is, there's a reason it's that thick. Now I'm going to put it in. Now before I put it in, let me also reveal another part of the mechanism. This handle is sticking through, and if I remove this handle, you'll see that this shaft is free to rotate. So this gear is attached to this tube essentially, and that tube goes over the lead screw. There's a hole here that lines up with the lead screw, and when you stick the handle through that hole, now when you rotate this gear, the lead screw also rotates. But if I pull this handle out, I can now rotate this gear without actually making the lead screw rotate. And in fact, for this next operation, I don't want the lead screw to rotate. So I am going to, there is another hole in the lead screw. I have to find it. When I line it up, if you can see, there is a small slot in this plastic, and there's a hole in the lead screw, and I'm now going to stick the handle through that hole. At this point, the lead screw cannot rotate. Now, another feature I didn't show you, there's a spring back here. This whole lead screw can actually move left and right. You see that? So now is the fun part. I'm going to put this gear back on. There's a custom shoulder screw that I made for that. And now this is the pattern wheel. Now it's a strange looking kind of cam. I had it 3D printed. Now when I originally made this machine, 3D printers didn't even exist. So I had to machine this out of acrylic, and I can't believe I lost it. But anyway, I did. So now I'm going to attach this cam onto the shaft, and I'm going to slide it up to, these are Teflon coated pieces of metal. There's a little crack in this one. I hope it hangs in there, but these are supposed to be low friction. And we had some Teflon floating around the lab. I'm going to push this all the way up to when the lowest parts of this cam touch the Teflon. And before I even put the pen in, this is what's going to happen. As I rotate the cup, it's going to move the pen left and right while rotating the egg. So we should get sort of a squiggly line going across the egg. Let's see how well it works. I'll put the blue in. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. The pen is behind the egg, so maybe what I'll do is I'll move this around. Let's see, is it better? Maybe it's better to show it this way. We'll see if it works. By changing the geometry of this cam, you can get different kind of patterns. So the one that I had machined originally made a more wiggly pattern. Maybe I had twice as many cups. Now sometimes it misses. You may have to back it up and get it to go again. What's kind of cool about it is it always comes back, no matter what the diameter of the egg is, it always comes back to its original pattern. So anyway, that's how you get a wiggly pattern on the egg. Now what can be nice too is you can, if you want, we can start it here. Let's see what happens if we put another one in between this one. You know, just to sort of summarize what we can make elliptical lines. And believe me, if you put another color in between these two lines, it really looks nice. You can make lines of latitude, like these, and you can make longitudinal lines, like these here. And then you can make the squiggly lines with the pattern wheel. So that's how this thing works. So having shown you this egg decorator design, I thought to myself, man, I wonder if I could come up with a simpler machine, because this thing is kind of involved and complicated. So out went this guy, and I came up with this one. Now, this one, so much time had elapsed between the two inventions that laser cutting actually got invented between the time I made the first decorator and this one came along. So this one's made out of almost exclusively laser cut parts. And let me go over how this one works. I'm not sure it still works. We'll see in a few seconds. Okay, now this machine just has a simple gravity-fed pen holder. I hope that still works. And it simply pivots back and forth here. The egg is held, instead of suction cups, I tried doing this. I can't remember if it worked out well or not, but these are basically wooden laser cut kind of rings glued together, and then I coated the top of it with silicone rubber and just let it dry. And it's kind of like, it's not really that flexible, but I can't remember how well it held the egg. We'll find out in a few. This part of the egg holder is attached to this gear. So there is a nut that goes through here, and it's nice and tight, so it moves with that gear. Now, in addition to that, there is, now this this thing over here is serving only as a collar. It's actually a small timing pulley, but I'm just using it as a locking collar because I couldn't find anything else. This gear is an attempt at turning a flat gear into a bevel gear, and it meshes with this gear in the back. Now this is a terrible, I don't know how good the camera can pick it up. This is a horrible meshing method. I really need to 3D print some true bevel gears, so this mechanism may run a little rough. Now this machine, because it doesn't have a lead screw, it can't do the helical path. However, it is able to do longitude lines, latitude lines, and it also can do a pattern. So let's see if I'm going to set it up with an egg, and let's just see if we can make some of this happen. Okay, you might be wondering what this little stick is. Well, this is the little magic that makes the decorating device able to make some patterns on the surface of the egg, similar to what the other machine did. Now for now, if you just want to make longitude and latitude lines, I'm going to take off the bevel gear here by just taking off this collar. As I mentioned earlier, this is only serving as a collar. So let me just take off this. The mechanism is a little bit easier to use in this configuration. It comes in from the top. I think you just use this little screw to tighten it. And let's say, maybe it should come down as far as it can go. Let me just see. Let's say I want to make a latitude line here. I'm just going to go around. Now I can move it over. I can make another one here. And I could move it over again. And I could make one here. But let's just continue. So again, I've taken off this gear, and I made a couple or 3 lines of latitude decorations. Now I'm going to, this is, I believe, a 24 tooth gear. I'm going to kind of use the gear teeth to put in some lines of longitude. So I think what I will do is, I'm just going to come across here. I think what I'll do is I'll move this 2 teeth over. I'll do another one. I'll do another 2 teeth. So far we have pretty cool looking egg. Now let's see if we can do a little patterning with it, and I'll show you how that works. So behind the model you can see here's the pen attachment. This is the other bevel gear. If you see, it has an off-centric pin. So when I attach this link here, for example, I'll set it up later. You'll see how that will move the pen back and forth. So again, you can see how the pen is going to be wiggling back and forth as we spin the egg once we put this gear back. So let me set it up for some pattern making, and we'll see what we can do. I put this gear back on, and I attached my link in the back to this position, and that should result in me putting a wiggly line sort of at the equator. I will use this pink Sharpie. Let's see if this is going to work. It's been a long time since I've tried this. Not sure which direction works better. We'll try this. This seems to be working a bit okay. And there you have a fairly cool squiggly line. on the egg. I think you can see that's pretty cool. And now it's very easy to move it over because all you have to do really is pull this link out. Just move it to another hole. Let's see. Yeah, just go one hole less than that. Put it in this hole. Maybe I'll use the orange colored Sharpie now. Let me give it a little turn. I think I'll put another wiggle line over here. I think my egg is starting to slip out of position, as you can see. So now I got a little overlap with the other wiggly line I've made before. But anyway, I think that gives you an idea of how these two different egg designers work. And I'll show you like how an egg can really come out nice. So when I was a kid and my mom gave these great Easter parties and she didn't want to waste eggs, we would start blowing eggs out. She would put 2 little holes in either end and then we would blow it out. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to give it a try. There you go. Now, unfortunately, my egg cracked a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. It cracked a little bit. But I tell you, when I was a kid, I wasn't strong enough. I don't think I had enough wind to blow it out. It wasn't actually that hard, but unfortunately, I cracked it. But we would start blowing eggs out of the eggshell several months before the Easter party. So my mom had several dozen hollowed out eggs, totally ready for dyeing and decorating without wasting any food. Anyway, it can be done.